Okay, yeah, I think we are live. Hopefully everybody can see us.
Oh, on cue, I've got an offer. 1 second.
Oh, happy days.
The notification has vanished. Been offered 30 for... Oh, I ended up listing this guy at 50. I'll go back at 40 and see what happens.
Nice. Well, hello everyone.
Yeah, sorry.
Impromptu live stream. I'm just checking we are live. Yeah, I can see both of our mugs on the screen. So no tech issues as yet, but there is still plenty of time for that. Just let us know in the chat if you can hear us both okay. Nick's been live for most of the day, so I imagine his setup's fine.
Yeah, I'm permanently live somewhere.
Yeah. It's like Big Brother, mate. You know, just get the camera set up and you know,
just wear one here the whole time.
Yeah. Well, you see people. What do they call it in real life? People on Twitch and stuff that just stream their life.
Really, is that a thing?
Yeah, it's called IRL something. I don't know. I don't watch them. But yeah,
there's parts of my life I need to keep private.
Well, yeah, we won't talk about that.
That's sounding really sinister, doesn't it?
Yes. Well, your criminal record paints a wonderful picture. So, anyway, the reason why I wanted to come on is just to have a chat, just to have a catch up. I realised I hadn't done a video in a while. I thought, well, it'd be good to jump on, have a chat, let everyone know sort of how things are going, and just have a general chit chat. Really, no. If there's any questions in the chat, just chuck them in there. There's a few people in. Well, there's 30 people. Happy days. Unfortunately we've got Carla in the chat as well. She's up late. Gosh. Got Lex in, Crispy, Laura, Peter Ray, Peter Cummings, Paul. Gosh, loads of people. Andrew's in. Great stuff. So yeah, I mean, I was just. Really, I mean, things have changed quite a lot for me with Amazon lately. I know you're completely just, you know, separated.
Barely doing Amazon currently by choice, really. Well, lockdown didn't help.
No.
Kind of forced my hand a little bit. But I, as you have many times over the few years we've been talking about Amazon, I got thoroughly cheesed off with them. And I just don't feel the motivation to send stuff up right now. Yeah. So I've got virtually nothing up at FBA. I'm doing some merchant fulfilled. Had 2 merchant fulfilled returns open today and yesterday. Wow. Merchant fulfilled ones. It's just like, just give me a rest.
I had loads after the lockdown. People who paid up for stuff during lockdown, played with it, especially gaming stuff, played with it, and then went, well, actually, I don't want it now.
Really?
Yeah.
Software.
So yeah, especially Wii games. I sold loads of Wii games during lockdown. Yeah. I jumped into my to polish pile, and luckily I'd got loads of the pad things for the JFJ Easy Pro, and just burned through loads of those just getting stuff polished, because there was so many gems in there. Because it was mad. There was, especially Wii Sports. I sold so many copies of Wii Sports. It was not even funny. Yeah, it was mental. In fact, I was talking to someone yesterday about this. There was one day during lockdown, and I've got a screenshot of it somewhere, where there wasn't a single Wii Sports listed on Amazon. It was currently unavailable. It was sold out.
Wow.
And I don't think we'll ever have that day again, really.
Yeah, it's one of the most sold games in existence, because it was bundled with virtually every Wii until they changed the pack, right? And the Wii is like the biggest selling console. No, that's PS2 maybe.
PS2, I think, yeah.
But yeah, the numbers, there's I think on Wikipedia there's a list of the biggest selling games ever, and Wii Sports is right up there near the top, certainly. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. So you
Yeah,
were
so
just digging them out of your backlog
yeah,
and just
everywhere and anywhere, and the Wii consoles themselves, I was going through, and then like I'd test them, and I'd find like a Wii Sports disc, which I'd put on eBay for, I think I was getting like 8-9 quid for them consistently, and then I even upped it to around a tenner, I think, at some point, just for the disc. It was mental. But yeah, I think the best price I think I got 25 quid for one of the ones in, the DVD case size.
yeah.
It was nuts. It
Yeah,
was just,
I was selling them. What's it? Standard Wii Fit. I had a
yeah.
stack, and somebody messaged me and said, "Oh, I've sold a few standard Wii Fits on eBay." And I'm like, "Really? That's not worth anything." Magpie sells it for like £2 delivered or something. But it was right, and I put mine on. I sold a lot in a couple of days. It's silly.
But
Lucy's just said, "Oh, Nick, third video in a run I've seen of you and got the same T-shirt on. It's because it's the same day." 82 million copies. Wow.
so Jack said 82 million copies. That's cool. Wow. But yeah, it still does sell because people. But yeah, I know what you're saying about the Wii Fit. I sold some Wii Fit boards during that time on eBay. I bundled. It was like Wii Fit and then the two games. Yeah, I was getting like 40 quid, I think, for them. It was nuts. They are heavy though. That's the only downside with them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Amazon was great for me, but they totally did over FBA sellers during the lockdown, which I can understand them what they did because they were prioritizing essential goods, but it made me just lose all trust because if I couldn't get on FBM and eBay, I would have been screwed. If I was like private label and I got all my stock at Amazon, it would have been game over for me. Because
Well,
they just weren't.
they
weren't
stopped sending up, didn't they? But
yeah,
stock
but
that was there was going, no?
no, the lead times were like 10 days to 3 weeks to get something prime. It was nuts. They just were they'd have like insane lead times if you wanted. You could buy it, but it wouldn't turn up for ages. So I just wasn't selling anything at all. So like overnight, they just switched my business off basically because I was about 10% eBay, something like that, 10-15%. So yeah, overnight, crap, I haven't got a business. So that just I understand why they did it, but it made me realize the vulnerability of my own business. And I think it's important. Like you've got to, at those moments, you've got to pivot, and you can't, because I think a lot of people as well, like they realize, like, oh, we're in lockdown. I've got nothing to list. Like that wasn't a problem for me, but I know a lot of people. It was a vulnerability of their own business that they all of a sudden hadn't got anything good to list.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people had various different issues, like you just said, depending on your situation. Yeah, it's been a strange few months, and it's going to be. I think this Christmas is going to be interesting. Certain people think. I think it was Mel in Australia was saying that she thinks there's going to be supply chain issues from China on certain toys, games, whatever it is, and there could be really big RA opportunities. But who knows? I mean, I don't know if that supply chain is messed up at the minute. But
Yes, it's hard to say, and I think as well that, I mean, that could be good for, say, board game sellers, like used board game sellers, because all of a sudden, if you can't get a particular thing, people are going to think, oh, what can we buy, that's slightly used that might be able to use as a gift, kind of thing. I've just got George Ross here. Hey George, cheers for popping in. Never had much confidence in Amazon, almost completely dropped it now. That's interesting because he was big on Amazon for a while. So yeah, saying that, I mean, recently Amazon had a deal out because they're trying to clear space in the warehouse for Q4, and it was up until a couple of days ago. They gave you free removals, so you could have your stuff back for free. So I had nearly 4,000 items sent back to me. So yeah, I mean, it saved me a lot of money because normally they charge around 50p an item. So that would have been like $2,000.
yeah, oh my god.
So I just, because I'd got inventory of, it was about 5,500 items. Well, it's 5,500 SKUs, and then God knows how many items in total because I'd got multiple quantity of certain games and stuff like that. So God knows how many.
So, and was a lot of it coming individually? I mean, I know when I've had returns, they sometimes put 3 or 4 in a box, but you would have had so much packaging turn up.
At the start, for some God knows reason why, they came in, the individual card mailers or the book wraps. So I was getting like hundreds, and oh my God, a parcel force van turned up, one of the long wheelbase vans, and the entire van was for me. It was just nuts. It was ridiculous. And that day the parcel force van turned up, I wasn't even at home. Well, it was down my workspace actually. I'd nipped down the road to the chippy, so they turned up. Luckily, we know the guy, and he rang me, and he was fuming. He's like, "I've got a van full for you." So yeah, I don't need to buy the mailers, those card mailers, anytime soon. So
it's always fascinated me that Amazon, that's essentially, they're a glorified logistics company, right?
Yeah.
They're just moving stock around. It's essentially right. And they can't work out how to, when you put in a return, to box them up together.
I did get some.
Save them a fortune.
But the mad thing is that I did get some enormous boxes, but they put so much in them because they were books. They were split on the side, and they were knackered. And it's like, it's one way or the other. It's either like it was just lunacy. It was absolute lunacy. So yeah.
So did all of that stuff go then back on Amazon Merchant Fulfilled, or was this just pile on eBay?
It's currently in a big pile. I haven't even opened up half the boxes because it's literally, there's like, I mean, it's still coming through, but there's hundreds of, there's probably over 500 parcels just to open. It's just obscene. But it's really interesting though, because when you get it back, they do not give a monkeys. It's smashed. It's it's just bung it in a thing and get it gone.
Have you ever had stuff back that's so caked in dust it's ridiculous?
Yeah, because some of the stuff was there for 4 years, so it's proper dusty. Some of the books are, but it's certainly interesting. But
well,
I've got to.
I was going to quickly say I had a little bit of a clear out. Not that long before they announced free returns, which is just blooming annoying. I basically reduced what inventory I had left, had it back, and shoved it on eBay. And and then I think you told me like a week later, "Oh, free returns, Nick." I'm like, "Thanks."
I did the same. I'd had a load of stuff sent back because I managed to send some CDs up. It says you can't list them very good, and they'd let me send some CDs up, and then literally almost as soon as they hit the warehouse, they went, "Yeah, you can only sell them in like new or good." So they became like stranded, stuck. So I had them sent back. So literally, it's so frustrating. But
where is there any logic in restricting one?
You can't sell it as new. I can understand not selling as new.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because there are unscrupulous types that I know of, people who have shrink wrap machines. They literally buy stuff, refinish it, re-shrink wrap it, and sell it as new.
Or it's the companies wanting to protect their revenue and they want to be the only ones selling new, and I can kind of get behind that, you know what I mean, wanting new stuff to only come from genuine suppliers, etc., and cutting out the counterfeits and stuff. But the used stuff, to say you can sell it used but you can't sell it only one description, condition, that's the word I'm looking for. I don't understand that at all. I've almost given up doing media at Amazon now, because some of it's because I'm restricted, and then the rest of it is I just can't be bothered with it.
Okay, just had a message to say that thing's off. That's weird. If anybody just lets me know if there's a bit of lag between. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, the other thing I've got to check as well is when I had free returns before, is they actually charged me. And then I had to go, whoa, what are you doing? They charged me several £100 to have stuff back. And then they're kind of like, oh, sorry, was it free? You've got to keep your eye on it. And
it's so hard to do. It's so hard to keep track of that.
Because you have so many things. No lag. That's cool. Chris, it must be your internet, mate.
It's the same with eBay, and not giving us the discounts or the pound final value fees. I am not organised enough to chase that up to keep track of it. Yeah. And I think they know that. With a lot of people, it's like, well, they won't know if we actually do charge them.
That's the mental thing. Yeah, there's just no. Yeah, no, and you could. I know some people have spreadsheets and try and work it out, but I think with this, I'll notice if all of a sudden they charge me $2,000. But I think you're going to waste your time if you try to sit there and work it all out.
That's just reading. I'm way behind in the chat, but
yeah, I need to.
Carla says, just out of interest, has there been a full hour today when Nick wasn't live on YouTube? It's been a couple, Carla.
Yeah.
Wii Sports is actually fourth behind Tetris, Minecraft, and GTA 5. Wow, GTA 5. God, Rockstar amazed me.
It's still so popular. GTA Online is just still killing it. They're making so much money, like so much so that I think they've postponed so much that Derek could probably be able to say that, like they postponed the GTA 6 coming out because they're making so much money online with GTA Online that it's worth their while.
And that last Red Dead did amazingly well for them as well.
Yeah. Oh, got Mel in.
Mel's in, yeah, I just noticed.
Yeah. Oh, Mike's in as well. Hey, Mike. Yeah, so basically what I ended up doing was during lockdown, I had to just list it all on eBay and Amazon Merchant Fulfill because I just had to sort of ignore all the stuff that was up at FBA and then just scratch around and list as much as I could. So I listed like 600 items in a month, something like that, on eBay. It was just nuts. It was, yeah. It's one of those things that I missed out on a lot of stuff because of fairs that I'd got booked in and wasn't able to do those, but just, it was nutty with the sales and everything, so...
Did you find it easy getting back into eBay in a big way, or does it feel like a lot of hard work?
It was so slow. Oh my word, it was so slow. Yeah, it was when I'm just used to scanning a book and copy and pasting I've got like a whole list of generic descriptions that suit each category and what the item is and its condition. I just copy and paste into the condition notes. I don't even take a photo. Some things I had my own photo, but so I can list like 30 things an hour, maybe something like that. And then to go onto eBay where it's really slow and you've got the item specifics and I was enjoying doing bundles though. That was one of the things because then I could get rid of lots of stuff in one go. So that was good.
Yeah. And that's the big difference. People perhaps watching who are thinking, Amazon sounds amazing, let's do Amazon, it's totally inflexible. Whereas eBay, and what I've always loved about eBay is you can do a single item all the way up to 100 items. You can list it exactly as you want. You can do bundles of anything. Describe, you know what I mean? It's totally flexible.
I was selling a lot because, like, at the car boots a couple of years ago, I bought a stack of like a CD spiral, one of those cases with CDs in, and also a folder with loads of disc-only PS1 games and disc-only games. So I was selling like bundles of disc-only games, or even sometimes singular disc-only games. And I'd had them kicking around for ages, and they flew out. They did. I never even thought of disc-only. I mean, flipping heck. Yeah. But yeah, doing a bundle like 5 disc-only, goes large letter. It was like. It was ace.
What were they, PS1?
Yeah, there's a lot of PS1. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, and the JFJ just cleans them up well nice. So
yeah, I've always enjoyed doing that because, like you say, it goes large letter, no hassle, super easy to do, and a lot of people don't care. They just want the game. I found the Minecraft in one of the last PS3s I had, and I just whacked it on like £13-14. It sold instantly, sort of thing. And yeah,
it's there's certainly a lot to be said about those. It gave me a chance to list a lot of just things I've been putting off. Really, I got a load of like camping gas stuff, which I bought. Like God, did I tell you when I bought it? It was at a hitching car boot where Caroline came down, and then
so that's about like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Meetup. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I bought it at that car boot with a load of Kenwood blender accessories, new in box, and Sony Handycam cases or something.
We went nuts on that store. I bought so much of them.
It was a woman who was it a husband? God, why do I remember stuff like this? A husband had got like an electrical shop that he was retiring or something.
Either her husband or maybe even her dad. It might be her father. I think the stuff, a lot of it was 1970s, 80s gear.
Yeah.
I got that bright yellow Handycam underwater case.
Yeah.
New in the box. It was gorgeous.
So it only took me 3 years to list them. So but it was. I mean, a lot of that sort of stuff I've still got listed, but it was good to at least get it up there, get it listed, because there's nothing else I could do. There's zero sourcing opportunities. I did buy a couple of job lots on eBay, but that was more to get me fixed kind of thing as such. Right,
what sort of numbers have you got on eBay now? Then have you really built it up, or has it been selling through?
It's just been selling through. I kind of took my foot off the accelerator, really. Let me just. I'll give you a live update. I've got terrible internet signal. 972. So just under that 1,000.
Wow, that's more than double what we have. Awesome.
But I have got some stuff. I'm not as ruthless as you. I said in your chat earlier, I've got some stuff that's listed for like 3 years, and I should really, get rid.
Yeah.
Amazon. Let me just Amazon FBA. Apologies for looking down. I've got 1,546 items. So I've still got a good amount, but it's certainly not the 5,500 that I did have. And merchant fulfilled on my books is 1,822. So I've actually got more on merchant fulfilled than FBA.
And is all of that in your new storage place?
Yeah. I'm sort of, which I will get to doing that video soon. So
yeah,
I'm a bit behind on videos. You know what it's like. I keep forgetting. I'll get to Pete's question in a sec, but yeah, I'm sure you know what it's like. You film the start, you film the bits in between, you film what you're doing, and then you forget to finish it off at the end. So I've got to film a load of segments which join the bits together. Otherwise, it makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I'm getting behind. I've got 3 videos to finish and put up. And if you leave them too long, they get harder and harder to finish.
Yeah, and I know Peter Ray's experienced that, because I saw recently he came out with a video that he filmed in February or something, and he said that he'd been putting off doing it. So
it's easily done.
It's so easily done.
I've just read what he's put, calling us old gits. I think you'll find, Pete, you're older than both of us.
Yeah. Has eBay and Amazon business grown in the last 5 years, or did it reach the ceiling some years ago? That's a tough one, really. What did? I know certainly. I could have gone for it more along the RA route, but I was getting to the problem where there was only me, and I would have had to employ staff to do posting and stuff. I could have gone for it with the RA route, but actually, in hindsight, like after last Christmas, I didn't find any RA at all. So, I could have prepared myself for that and gone straight through the VAT and way past that and into, becoming a limited company and all that business. But I decided it wasn't worth the stress and the hassle for me at this time, just became a dad, and as it turned out, it was probably a smart move for me, really.
Yeah. I mean, with us, our business could be bigger, but we're trying, I keep saying it, but we're trying, if anything, to do less and shrink it down. We're seriously looking into moving at some point, so we're going to reduce a lot more of it, I think. But then when we come to finding a place, we're going to actually want more storage, so we can have it all out of the house. But storage on our own property would be ideal. So depending what we find, and if we do make this move, we may then have a bit more space to relax into it a bit. But we're not really looking to expand. We've been trying to do less since we left retail, really.
Yeah, it's something I've thought about going forward, because I do pay so much for storage fees that maybe in the next 5 years it would be, if I can afford it and I need to think about buying commercial, like a place to have my business, rather than rent so much, because the amount of rent I pay, it'd be the same as mortgage payments pretty much. But I don't want to go down that route quite yet. But it is something I've thought about, either that or potentially having something more at home. But that's not on the cards at the moment, really.
I mean, the setup as we've got it now, you've been here, you know roughly how we have this laid out. And we've had kind of all of the options. I've had separate kind of warehouse and office space. We've had retail. We've done the whole thing. We've done it from a small, tiny little house that we rented. And this, at least the way we run things, is as good a solution as we can find. To have a house with kind of extensions, so you can just about separate the business and the home, but you're not shelling out constantly for storage. Works, but the only downside is you can't escape work that easily. It's not in our front room most of the time, but it's always like 6 foot away.
See, my office, as you know, is you've got to walk through my office to use the bathroom, so there's no escaping it at all. It's I don't keep stock at home anymore. Packaging material in the loft, and I do list stuff here, and then when it's listed, it goes off to storage to be stored and stuff, because it just wasn't a safe environment to have a toddler. So but I can see the appeal with you being able to just, obviously Andrew's got her office, but being able to close the door and be like, no, I'm done for the day, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it is all too easy, because all of the stock has to come in through our front door. And quite often in here is already like a bomb site. So quite often the front room ends up being a holding space. And then, it can very easily get out of control, is what I'm saying. And, I look back to when we first had a place, when we first had Ellen, and it was literally a 2 up, 2 down, tiny little rented house. And I know there are many people in this community who still operate like that, or are operating now. And I know how claustrophobic and stressful that can be. We used to have a sofa on this side of the room, and then this great big kind of cabinet thing with the computer in and stock all over it, and then a big rack of stock in our front room with a small toddler wandering around, a baby as she was then. And our bedroom was stock floor to ceiling up one side, Ellen's room underneath the cot full of stock, stacked up boxes in her bedroom. It was just insane looking back, absolutely insane.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If that's what you've got to do, then that's kind of what I know there's a lot of people in that circumstance. So they've got a spare room where they do it, or they list at home and they got a little storage unit. And there's a lot to be said for that, keeping it lean and mean, kind of, because when you start shelling out over $1,000 a month in storage fees, it really eats into your profit, and you've kind of got to go big, but then can't be too big, otherwise then you go over that. So is this balance.
Yeah.
So, I do kind of miss the days when things were a little bit more simple. Certainly there's the pressure there that I've got to make the money, when you've got mortgage payments and rent and all this. So, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. This whole game suddenly isn't a game when when it's your income source and you have to find X amount a month, it's suddenly serious.
Yeah, it was quite nice to have a quote unquote proper job and then just do it on the side. It was like fun, more fun. No, it's still fun. I still enjoy it. I still get proper giddy when I come home with like an entire car full of media and I'm rubbing my knees like mad at the traffic lights, going, "Oh, I wonder if I just pull over and have a quick look through." And there's me in the lay-by, like going through boxes, pulling out. Oh, these CDs are really good, and then I'm looking them up, and it's going dark, and I'm like, "Oh God, I best go home." So.
Yeah, I must admit, after a good boot sale, if there is a heap in the front room, Andrew will tell you, I like nothing better than sitting in the evening with a box of media at my feet, going through, scanning and looking it up, checking discs.
Yeah, 100%. There's always like a stack next to me on the sofa kind of thing, so I'll be watching something, I'll be checking discs, and it's mental. It is mental. But saying about car boots, I have been permitted to go to my one and only car boot this year on the bank holiday, so I'm allowed to go to a car boot one time, car boot, and that's it. I can't wait.
Does Lorna know that you might go crazy and fill the van?
Yeah. Well, I've got 2 trolleys ready to go. They've been dusted off. I'm getting the ready to go. I've got 2 rucksacks, so I can literally. No, my luck, it'll probably blink in rain. So, but I've got 3 possible days over the bank holiday to go. So I'm chomping at the bit to get going again.
I think we're doing 3 jumble trails. That
wow,
it's the weekend coming, isn't it? The bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So that'll be epic. I just read in the chat. Oh, I've lost it. Crap, where'd it go? Sam was saying that she's giving up her unit, or just has.
Oh yeah, there we go.
And has moved house to compensate for it. Oh, you found it. There you
go. Yeah. Wow, that's an achievement. Yeah.
It's funny when I said that we're kind of starting to semi-seriously house hunt now, and I get excited when I start thinking about outbuildings. When I first came up to yours, I was so excited to see your outbuildings. I mean, how sad is that? And it was genuinely, really good fun to see what your spaces were. Well, they were just rams, weren't they? Let's be honest. But having those sort of buildings really, gets my excitement going. But then I think I need to kind of limit myself at the same time, because I will just fill up the space as you did. Yeah. I will be that same person. So I don't know how much space I want or need.
You never have enough space. I mean, I will go into details in a video, but as you know, I've signed a contract for a very large space, and it's already quite full. It's already about a third full. So
what have you put in there? Just stock you had already?
Yeah, I'm condensing everything into one enormous space. So that is a video coming soon of a very, very large space, which I am trying my hardest not to fill. But so far every storage unit I've ever had I've filled, so it doesn't bode well.
I'll tell you, have you found that you've got better? What do you work? Do you go down there to work and list, or do you do that?
Yeah. No, I don't list down there, but I go down there to sort stuff out. Into like, this is going to go to the media buyers. These books are going to go FBM. That I'm going to put on eBay, and then I'll go down there, just grab a stack of stuff, bring it back home, and list it here. But I'm going to have my photography set up down there just to take photos. So I'll take all the photos on my phone, and then I'll list it at home, kind of thing.
Because what I was going to say is what I think I need, because I'm a very messy person. I need more working space. The storage space is one thing. I need more space to spread myself out and have, enough space where I can be messy, Nick, and still be productive. Yeah. Because although I try and be a tidy person, it doesn't work. So I need workspace, work surfaces. So I think that's one thing that if we do move, that's what I'll be using the space for. I think more useful space.
Yeah,
Not so much storage.
I need the thing I've needed is processing space. So I've been going on Facebook getting like free tables and stuff. I've got loads of all my car boot tables laid out. I managed to get 2 free cycle tables so far. So it's having that space because I've just been sorting it on the floor, which isn't ideal. But yeah, so I just thought I'd highlight the Sam saying, "Pity you don't live near here." She's got 1,000 square foot. Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, I bet that's expensive.
But yeah, I mean, you're right with space and having space to sort stuff into. There's a video coming soon where I sorted that job lot of classical, and I was saying to you, I was sending it to various of the music buyers or the media buyers, and my photo bay was full. The floor had various stacks on it. I had 3 or 4 boxes on the go, and I couldn't move. I just don't have useful space to process stock. That's what I need more of.
I think the problem is that for me is I'll sort stuff, and then I'll leave it there, and then look, shiny thing over here, and I'll get distracted, and then it's like when you test stuff. If I don't list the stuff straight away, I'll forget. Even if I've put myself post-it notes, I will forget what works and what doesn't.
You're totally. I won't trust myself that it's working unless I've seen it working within the last sort of half a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally right. You have to test it and then get it listed that day, ideally. Otherwise, yeah, you'll be testing it again.
Yeah. Just highlight Pete's comment there. 3,500 square foot. That's an insanely large space. I mean, I thought the space I was renting was big, but Jesus Christ,
I can't even picture how big that is.
It's almost like the size of a football pitch. I think it's massive. That is. It's certainly half a football pitch.
That is amazing.
Because a shipping container is about 1,000 foot, I think. So it's like 3 shipping containers, maybe half a football pitch, not an entire football pitch. What am I thinking? But yeah, it's massive.
The one time I had a fair bit of storage, when we took our gaming shop into a bigger unit, so it's kind of a double and a half size frontage shop, which is now a big hairdressers, and we had the basement below. So I had this basement, the same floor space as this great big shop, and I filled it with media. Yeah. And I sometimes look at the pictures of that, and I think, was all of that stock mine? Most of it was unlisted. It's crazy.
I know. It's certainly changed my thought process on stuff clearing this unit out. And well, sneak preview to the video, but I did it. I cleared that unit of shame, but it certainly shocked me to think, crap. Why was I storing this utter garbage? Well, it was a mixture of that and, oh my God, why haven't I listed it? The funny thing is, I found a load of Zumba stuff in there, the Zumba sticks and the DVDs, like loads of it. But the weird thing is that during lockdown, Zumba stuff was selling again. So I sold loads of it. It kind of was in
little sticks with the green ends. Is that what you mean? Little green ends.
Sticks with the green ends that nobody wanted, and now all of a sudden people wanted them again. Mental.
Goodness.
So yeah, but it's just some of the it pains me stuff which I found, like some soup mugs and oh gosh, and there is still value in there, but not what it was when I picked them up. So yeah, loads of clothes that were like moldy that still had the charity shop price stickers on them, tags on them.
Oh, that's got to be soul destroying, chucking away stuff. And seeing how much you paid for it as you chuck it away. Yeah,
totally. So yeah. So if anyone's got any questions in the chat, gosh, we've been going a while already. Yeah.
Wow.
What's plus 10? Blimey. Yeah, just do let me know.
Andrew Moneymental's in. He's just got himself another Tainer, as I think he's christened it.
Well, he says a 40-foot shipping container is 320 square foot. So that's like 10 shipping containers that Pete was on about. Blimmin' heck, that's
so much space.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking, judging by that, I think our shop would have been about 1,000 square foot then.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit less.
I think my main advice for people who do get storage unit is think about what you're actually going to do in the space. Be realistic, and get good shelving. Like you like the stuff you've got behind you. If you're serious about it, get Dexian, get really good boltless stuff. Don't faff about with the. I mean, okay, I can understand if you're on a budget and you're just doing it from home, getting the cheap B&Q shelving. But if you're serious about it, invest in decent stuff, and it'll last and last.
I fairly often get questions, where can I get the shelving you've got, Nick? And this is 1960s, and some of it's 1950s, I believe. Oh no, I think I got rid of the really old stuff. And we bought it off eBay. It was a printing company that had closed down, and we bought the lot and got a van and drove and picked up the whole lot. But it is one of the things that it's not worth trying to save money on.
Yeah.
Because you'll regret it. You'll buy expensive stuff 3 or 4 years down the line.
There's only so many times you have an entire shelving unit collapse where it's got to happen before you realise that you've got to buy decent stuff really.
Yeah.
So yeah. Is there any resellers over the VAT threshold? Do you charge VAT? Do you charge VAT? Well, I think Ken must be, because he's doing about 100 grand, I think, from some of the numbers. Ken Chapman. There are some like I think Shazad is with his pharmacy stuff.
Oh, Shazad will be over it in a week. We used to be VAT registered. We deregistered when we downsized, as I was talking about before, and bought the business out at the high street. It gets complicated when you're doing used stuff and new stuff. We used to have to run 2 VAT schemes. We do the global accounting and the regular, and it's just it's hard to explain, and it's a nightmare. We had an accountant dealing with ours for a while, and then I took it all on, or Andrew and I took it all on ourselves. But I mean, Tom, you went through this a couple of years ago. It's
a guy I share a workshop with. He's VAT registered as well, and he's having an awful time at the moment because, well, not at the moment, but because there's VAT is like electronic only now. So he was old school and did it all paper, and for an older guy to get used to doing the electronic thing was really difficult, that transition. But I was talking to Aaron about it, Apple Core Productions. You should go and check out his channel in the chat if you haven't already. And he was saying about how complicated VAT can be if you sell used goods. Nightmare. So, like I said, if I was to ever go past VAT, I want to smash through it and get proper sort of expertise on that. You don't want to just tip over VAT. So yeah, but there are people in the groups definitely who are in that position.
Yeah. Well, it's where's the threshold at? 85k.
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't advise anyone to purposefully try and stay under it. We kind of that's not what we're doing. We're not avoiding, but we are comfortable at underneath that. But if we, push things, when we were pushing Amazon and pushing RA particularly, when you're selling a lot of stuff, like let's say it's higher volume, but you only make a £5 on each one, but you want to sell 100 of them, do a few deals like that and you'll smash through that really quickly. So we have to be mindful of that. And I think that's one thing, if people are thinking of getting into RA, is think seriously, do you want to smash through the VAT threshold? I'm not saying you shouldn't, but think about the repercussions of that and what that might mean.
Yeah, I think the problem with VAT as well, obviously we're not tax advisors, we're just two idiots on the internet, but it's a rolling total. So if you go over that, whatever it is, 84,000, it's sort of a rolling thing. So the problem happens with a lot of online retailers is when you get 2 good Christmases back to back. And then if you go over that Christmas, then you've got to be VAT registered for a year. So if you have 2 good Christmases, you can go over that and then have to do a VAT return for a year. So you've got to be real careful with RA for that reason, because it's smaller profit margins, and I'd rather keep things not intentionally lower down, but to sell stuff with a higher profit margin, but less of it, rather than 400 iPhone cases at £1.50 profit on each.
Yeah,
kind of
because
thing.
the 85, again, we're not experts in this, but the 85 is turnover. So if you are operating on, I'll sell £100 item and I'll make a tenner on it, which I wouldn't advise to anyone. But if that's where you're at, you can see that the turnover side of it ramps up really quick, but you're not actually making a lot. And then if you take the VAT slice out of it and the tax slice out of it, it's very quickly you're like, why am I bothering?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're operating on, like Andrew just sold a lampshade for 50 quid that she paid £3 for, if you operate on those sort of numbers, you can see how it kind of switches the whole thing.
We're a very privileged sort of thing that the profit, the potential return on investment, the profit margin in what we do is insane compared to most of retail. So we're in a really lucky position that we can have such phenomenal return on investment.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Somebody was saying, I've just lost it. Oh, Phil was saying, I close old Argos shops as they move into Sainsbury's. You should see the thousands of feet of shelving they skip. I bet.
Oh, don't tell me that. Well, if there's going, Phil, let me know, because I'm in desperate need of shelving. Yeah, meters and meters of shelving.
Sadly, there will be many more victims on the high street of what we're going through now. So it'll probably be cropping up in auction houses all over the country.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep my eyes on Aaron again was telling me about an auction house that sells shop fittings and stuff. So I need to keep my eyes peeled, because like when I started my business, actually, it was sort of businesses from the credit crunch that were liquidating. And I got some amazing deals on equipment and machinery and pallet racking and some good stuff.
I remember buying it basically off the wall in Woolworths when they went under.
Yeah, I got some. I literally bought the thing. I had it in my room. It was like a CD display thing, and I wish I knew more about buying and selling back then, because I was just a bit of an idiot. But there's so many deals.
Yeah, we had Woolworths in Hitchin. We had their whole DVD chart display and just dismantled it, carried it down the road, and set it up in our shop. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
This was a shop that we would shop in and had shopped in for years and knew really well. It just felt so odd to dismantle it. And it was like 50 quid a bay, or maybe not even that, for this totally top high-end, really expensive stuff. And we kept the signage, DVD chart, CD chart and all.
I've seen the picture of that.
It's nuts.
I tried to do the same when Toys R Us closed. I tried to buy rack. I went in about 3 or 4 Toys R Us, but it was dead weird with Toys R Us. They were so stubborn about things that they just wanted far too much money for the racking and stuff. And in the end of it, most of it went to the scrap man, which is silly. They wanted top whack for it. No. Every time went to the scrap man, they didn't get anything. It was just like, you idiots.
Yeah.
And with a lot of the display stuff, as soon as it was sort of announced that it was happening, Lego came in and just took everything, because they were owed money by Toys R Us, so they were just getting whatever they could.
I'm going to quickly get a drink. I'll be back in 1 sec.
Yeah, I'll answer Dave's question. We've got Dave there. No, I have not had a go at Fall Guys yet. It does look a fun game, so I will be. I don't know if it's on PlayStation. I'll have to check it out. But yeah, it does look like a fun game. I have got my PlayStation mug from the Hitchin meetup. Let's see if there's any other questions in the chat. Thanks everyone for sticking around. I just saw that Lex had gone and Sam's gone. Obviously, I do appreciate it is a late stream, so we will be sort of wrapping up soon. Try and keep it to an hour. Bit off topic. Okay, bit off topic, but a quick gaming question. Bought my wife Animal Crossing and Paper Mario for Switch, and she's not keen on either. Would you sell now while new, or save and bundle with the console eventually? Maybe save it till Christmas, potentially. What do you think, Nick?
Well, the demand for Animal Crossing is huge now. Loads of YouTubers are talking about it.
Yeah.
My daughter wants us to rebuy a Switch just so she can play that game. So I would say maybe Animal Crossing straight away, because everyone seems to be talking about it in the gaming world. So yeah, demand for that is massive.
Yeah.
No, is Paper Mario just out? I don't know how long that's been out on Switch.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, yeah. You do list it now while it's hot, if the price is still up there.
Switch was a crazy one, because we had one for maybe a year or more, and then we sold it for what we paid for it.
Yeah.
Because demand and supply and demand were all over the place. Like, the shops weren't getting any in, and secondhand they went through the roof, and we sold it direct to CX.
I've got a friend, Dan, and he buys Switch bundles off Facebook and sells the Switch console on Amazon, and then I think he sells the games as a bundle on eBay, and he makes an absolute fortune doing that. It's just because they're getting what it used to be new price. It's just nuts. I don't know if it still is, but it was at one point. It was ridiculous. Funnily enough, I sold a Switch game today. Not Banjo Kazooie, Ukulele. That was it.
Ukulele.
Yeah, it was like a Banjo Kazooie spin-off. If you remember that game.
Yeah, of course. Ukulele was the bird, then, was it? No, that's Banjo and Kazooie. Banjo the bear and Kazooie the bird.
Something related, anyway.
Ah.
I picked it up at Asda. They got it cheap, and it's sold on eBay for what?
Did you ever get hold of a Switch? Have you got one?
No, I never bought one. Never bought one. I think it's all for about 15 quid. My phone's got no signal, but no. I'll buy one eventually, but I just thought I'm not going to play on it. I got PS4 with so many games, and I play on Fortnite, and then I play the odd game and stuff, but that was it really. And I did have lots of the retro games, and I need to put out a video about that, because I did sell off like most of the collection really. So yeah, because I actually recorded the video a year ago. It was just before my son was born, and it was me going through the cupboard of shame where everything went in there.
The one in the spare room, that cupboard was awesome. You showed me little snippets of it there, and I was like just dribbling on the floor.
I kept some of the key things there in storage at the moment. The like sort of rarer stuff. There was like that box of hardhead games that I got. Slowly feeding them into the market now. But yeah, they had to go. I could have sold them for more, but you know what it's like. You've just got to there had to be room for baby clothes.
Yeah, and it's a weird one, isn't it? With collecting, and I have totally opened Pandora's box with vinyl, because I'd written all the collecting out of my life, apart from what my kind of job was. And then I don't know what it was really, but I said, okay, I'm going to allow myself to start collecting vinyl again, and I'm not even going to say out loud how much I've spent this year on it, because Andrew might be watching.
Yeah, too much. I've certainly got an addictive personality. It's like when I used to buy coins, and it's the reason why I moved away from selling them, because I just wanted to keep them. And I'm glad I sold them, because I was able to. That was my way of affording my share of the deposit on this place. So yeah, it was useful, but it was all too tempting to keep stuff. So, yeah.
It gets very addictive. It really does.
Yeah.
And where do you draw the line? I'm trying to be fair to me and my vinyl collecting. I'm trying very hard to only buy it if it's a bargain. So pretty much everything I've bought so far, I could resell and make a good chunk of profit on, is the theory. So I'm that's the way I'm making it feel okay in my head. It's like an investment.
Yeah, definitely. I do think there's a like, you know, some like Beanie Bears is the classic example that people bought into that thinking they were going to make a fortune, but if it's more traditional, long-standing, like coins have always been worth money, vinyls have got a track record of holding their value, then I think you're fine.
Yeah, if you buy quality vinyl within reason, you're never going to lose the money unless you're buying it brand new, and then you could. But I mean, I'm buying pretty much used vinyl, being really picky where I can about condition, and I think the money's safe. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when you come up this way, there's some good record shops in Nottingham. Actually, there's one that did an absolute has made so much money, I'm sure, during lockdown because they were doing booked appointments. So you go there and you get like a couple of hours slot, and you could just go through stuff. And they had like a lead time of weeks before you could get an appointment to go. So they must have been making so much.
That's a clever idea, just for normal trading, because if you're invited into this like little sanctuary and that, you're going to feel almost obliged to make the most of that time and buy lots of stuff. You'll get that one-on-one service with the owner, and they can really sell you up on stuff. And I bet you'd spend way more on a private appointment in a record shop than if you were just browsing and casually buying a couple.
Because if you knew, okay, I've got 2 hours to do this, and I can't get back in for a couple of weeks, you're gonna go for it, aren't you?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's just for general. When we're not in lockdown, I think that would be a grand idea. It'd be great.
Yeah, I do. The guy must have been making money hand over fist, and fair play to him. You know, small business. So yeah, next time we come up, we have to pop in there. He's certainly got a lot of stock.
Yes.
But yeah, if there's any questions in, otherwise I'll start wrapping it up in 5 minutes or so, and so someone's put, what is your favourite shop for RA? For me, it's supermarkets.
I was going to say Tesco.
Tesco, yeah, I'd probably say Tesco.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is good.
I used to do okay with Smiths.
Oh, Smiths, yeah. Occasionally. Not anymore, though.
No, not anymore, but I used to do it okay with ordering online. But the problem is that a lot of people know about that, and it either A, sell out quickly, or you'd buy something, and then by the time you listed it on Amazon, there was 20 other people selling it. So Argos is all right. But
Boots, depending on what size store you've got near you, Boots clearance section can be good. And Boots after Christmas sales, it varies from year to year. This is the thing. None of this is set in stone, but sometimes Boots is good, and sometimes it's a complete waste of time.
The problem with Boots is they don't like resellers. I don't know if it's because Boots is like, obviously it's from Nottingham. I know several resellers around here have been asked to leave the store if they're scanning things, or if they're obviously buying things to resell, and then they do cancel orders online as well quite often if they think you're a reseller. It's really weird.
We've not got to the point of being refused sale, but I remember one guy it was very obvious. He felt awkward because I think he'd been told to have a conversation with us because we were clearing shelves of stuff in the January sales.
Yeah.
And he came up and he was like, why are you buying? He was asking those weird questions. Why are you buying so many? And I was like, does it matter? I was just answering all his questions with a question. I was being perfectly polite. And he didn't know where to put himself, and he kind of chickened out. You could tell he was like, I don't know how to handle this. And he just left us to it. But you could tell that he was, I think, sent to find out if we were going to resell it and then tell us to bugger off if we were.
Krillin's asked, what is Boots? I suppose it's a pharmacy. Would you call it a pharmacy? Like a... Yeah.
Traditionally, they were a pharmacy, and they've grown into a store that does, all sorts now. They do, it's a pharmacy basically, isn't it?
Yeah, someone's put here, Boots are 6 units, 1 item at till now.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
Well, that's recent, unless we've been somehow getting around it. That's fairly recent because I've certainly bought more than 6.
There we go. It's a high street chemist. That's a good way of putting it. A drugstore. Yeah. Thanks, Andrew, for translating into American.
Yeah.
Drugstore.
They do a lot of, they're huge at Christmas with gifts. They have aisles and aisles they give over to Christmas gifts. They go to town with that.
There's one for you, mate.
I have 20k plus of vinyl from the 1960s to 90s. The second-hand vinyl shop that closed in 96, but stock plus shop untouched to the boiler.
Ooh.
God.
Gosh. That's quite something.
So it closed in 96 and then it stayed untouched. That's amazing.
Oof.
I'd love to know how much you spent.
Yeah, I do think that, like, round near me, I know that, like, for example, the barber that I used to go to, he's been doing it for a million years, and because of COVID, he retired, took early retirement. I do wonder how many little shops are the guys of near retirement age decide just to pack in, retire because of COVID, and that stock is going to be somewhere at some point.
Yeah, I think there'll be several reasons why. Yeah, there'll be stock appearing on the market. There'll be chain. Well, we all know of some of the high street chains that have already gone under.
Yeah.
Because you think if you were struggling before COVID,
yeah,
you're struggling to meet all of your debts, this, that, and the other, and then suddenly all of your income is switched off. It's like you're done for. You're totally done for. Which is,
I mean, without getting my tinfoil hat out and stuff like that, it is definitely one of the biggest wealth transfers in history, I think, going on right now, that people like Jeff Bezos are just absolutely killing it. That the high street is like a huge death blow to a lot of high street. So it's going on in the background under your nose, all this, transition to a cashless society, people getting used to not paying in cash, to buying online. And us as online sellers, it's huge. It's obviously for the high street, but yeah, it's
you think in this time, we all know that Amazon benefited no end. We all know that Netflix subscriptions went through the roof. How many people switched to online grocery deliveries because they didn't want to go to the superstore?
Yeah.
We've been buying wine by the crate from a wine merchant online, this sort of stuff, and multiply that up through entire countries. Yeah. It's been huge for the I'd love to see some figures, and they'll be probably out next year.
Yeah.
You'll just see the spike when lockdown came in.
And one sort of weird thing that I've been noticing is when I've been researching on eBay comps, you think, God, that sold well. And then you realize it sold in June and it's all skewed because the prices back then were mental. So I'm like, it's sometimes a bit difficult to research prices at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be one of those years. Well, it might be next year as well. We don't know yet. Yeah. That everyone's going to look back on, and it will just be like, wow, did that really happen? That was crazy.
Certainly a select few people, well, not select few, but some people at the moment who are making ludicrous amounts of money, especially people who've, in the sort of mask making game and hand sanitizer and stuff like that.
Dettol, those sort of companies, the sanitary products, sprays and all the things you said. Yeah, I mean, amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So, but Jay, were you guys reselling back before everyone knew the value of everything? I always think of living in the early 2000s and going to GameStation, buying their stock of retro. See, I do miss GameStation because they did used to have some good stuff like that every now and then.
Yeah. Well, I certainly fit into that category of doing reselling before everyone knew the value of everything, before smartphones. So you couldn't look anything up anyway. So there was a lot more carrying your knowledge with you or just blindly taking a chance on stuff. Yeah. And to be honest, I've lost a lot of that because I rely on this too much now.
Yeah.
And I don't trust my own knowledge these days. It's weird, but I think I've got complacent.
Because the problem with things like the Ashes box set is it's false memories that something's worth money. So I bought something and thought, oh yeah, great. And then like I bought a PC game the other day. It was Civilization Complete Collection or something. I thought that sounds really good, but it's not worth anything. I can't remember the exact title. It was a Civilization PC game in a charity shop, but I'd remembered that I bought it before and it wasn't worth anything. So I'd remembered that it was, and I got all mixed up, and that's a pound gone. So
yeah. I forget sometimes, like you just said, I've had this before. Now, was it utter crap or was it brilliant? I don't know. So I just get the phone out, and I've become too reliant on this, is what I'm saying. You know, when I'm outsourcing now, my phone runs out of battery. I feel a bit, okay, this is old school. You know,
I've never had so much unrepentant rage as when I went round. It was last year. I went round Shrewsbury, and for some reason in Shrewsbury, depending on where you're from, the charity shops have like lead line walls, or it's a Faraday cage or something like that. But you cannot get signal in any of the charity shops, and it drove me mental because there were some really good books, and I couldn't look up. So I had to take a photo of the barcode, walk outside, look it up, walk back in. So they must have thought I was nicking stuff or something, or like hang out by the window trying to get a signal. I just felt like an absolute loser because I didn't know, and the prices weren't. If it was like 10p or 50p or something, but if they're asking like £4.99 a book and it looks decent and it could be worth like 40, 50 quid, then. But you're not going to take that chance. Yeah. Oh, got a super chat, I think. Yeah. From Chris. I think this is only like my second ever super chat. So thank you, Krillin. That's really kind of you. Bezos of the world going to buy out the high street.
Yeah. This whole virus has it's shifted a big chunk of people that weren't convinced about online shopping. It's kind of forced their hand, you know what I mean, the situation. And I think a lot of those people will go, well, I didn't get scammed and I didn't lose all of my personal data because I bought something off Amazon. Yeah. All of the things that maybe were holding them back, and they'll be like, oh, I might as well carry on now.
Yeah, definitely. And I've certainly had that on eBay. I had someone who bought something, and they bought something, and then they sent me a message going, I've not bought anything on eBay before. What do I do now? Kind of thing. So I can't remember what it was.
We had quite a few of those zero feedback brand new accounts, which were like guest accounts. I think it is. I don't know quite how that works, but we saw a fair bit of that during lockdown.
So here's an example: Yorkshire Traders. It was lockdown that helped me to full time. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah. We were fairly lucky in that we were able to, most of us, struggle on, well, not even struggle on. We boomed for the first couple of weeks, and we were able to keep our business going. So in that sense, we were incredibly lucky for us to be working from home and to be online, and it was ideal, really, for us.
I mean, it was difficult for me in the sense that my storage unit place, which was manned, closed, so I couldn't get access to my inventory for quite a while. I ended up kicking up a fuss and managed to get access, but that was a bit of a shocker. And I'd got loads of antique fairs booked in this year. I was like wanted to try and do that and push that side of things, and they all got cancelled. But it went nuts for about 3 weeks, which kind of probably over the year I'm going to be slightly down this year overall, but considering what happened, it was great, really.
Yeah, I think for us, I was going to say it's going to probably level out because our Amazon business, it's been pathetic.
Yeah,
and we haven't been. We had plans to do loads of RA again. We had plans to go back to the auction house. You may have seen in videos a couple of years back where we were buying pallets of stuff. That worked out super well for us. We were going to go big on that sort of stuff, put it away for Q4, blah, blah. We've got none of that. So our business has gone okay, but we're going to have probably a really bad Christmas compared to what we would expect. So for us, I think once you add Christmas in, we're going to be down this year, I think, quite a lot. But yeah, overall, we were quite lucky, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I've thought about other avenues. I've tried. I'm still dabbling in wholesale, selling to other sellers, that sort of thing. It is quite tempting. I've got contacts for different places, and then obviously, people like you were saying before, like Steve and Steph, with them doing the liquidation pallets and stuff like that. I've looked into that, but it's a dangerous game. That is, you just end up drowning yourself in stuff that
Yeah,
could potentially all be broken. You don't know, so it's
you've got to have an efficient way of turning it over, I guess. Otherwise, you'll just, like you say, drown in stuff. Yeah.
yeah. I know a guy who buys media in bulk by the container load, and he's hit a problem recently that he was selling his waste, sort of the waste plastic and stuff, to China. But of course, with the lockdown, he couldn't sell it. So in his yard, it backed up and backed up and backed up. Yeah. So he's down south, and he's drowning in stuff that he needs to export, particularly like the sort of the big container loads going abroad, because just can't get it gone. So yeah, it's a difficult one. It's certainly changed the dynamic, and I do wonder how, like what you're saying with supply chains, and how it's going to affect, because obviously Amazon's flooded with the big Chinese sellers and drop shippers, and there's all that private label, and how that market has been affected by all this. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. Mel actually commented, I said earlier that she was talking about, she thinks that the supply chain will be disrupted, and she was saying that she knows somebody within the industry that really believes that's going to happen. It's going to be disrupted.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So
it might be a case of there's always a few toys that we've all at some point taken advantage of, the toy that everyone's after. It might be that the whole top 10 toys that are sought after are in short supply. Can you imagine that? It'd be crazy.
Because the weird thing is that, like, there's normally that toy, but like last Christmas, there wasn't really particularly, other than those LOL surprise doll things, there wasn't really anything that was the toy as such.
Not that was in short supply that I remember. Not enough for me to jump on.
Not really either. So whether that'll be the same this year, it's difficult. So I'm still keeping my feelers out for like what is the big thing, because like that Chewbacca mask that year when that was, and what was that board game? Pie Face, was it?
Pie Face was big. Speak Out.
Speak Out. Oh my word! I was good. I remember the Chewbacca mask because I remember texting you, and you were driving around all the Argoses, and I think Sainsbury's trying to buy them all, and so was I. And I was selling the ones that I just bought before I even went to the next Argos. It was just stupid.
I was reserving everything I could get within like a 30-mile radius or whatever, and then selling it in advance. And then I rocked up at like Luton Argos, or I think there's a couple in Luton. I rocked up at one. It's like I'd reserved 12. Get there. Oh, we've only got 3, sir. I'm like, no, I reserved all of your stock last night. He said, yeah, but we've only got 3. And I got in such a pickle with it. I think it was Joe Pennies that bailed me out with stock.
Yeah, because that pre-selling is, I certainly won't be doing that again because the stress. I remember you getting yourself in a bit of I do wonder sometimes whether it's the staff being like, oh, I wouldn't mind some of these, but that's just speculation.
I going back just quickly before we wrap up, going back a long time, one of the RA deals that was just so much fun, it was hilarious, was brain training on the DS. I know I've mentioned it before, but I was reserving it in Argos, full price, so 20 quid, and Amazon kept selling out. And I was selling them at 30, 40 quid, and like 20, 30, 40 a day. And I'd just turn up at Argos and just pick them all up. And they'd all pre-sold. It's just so much fun. I did that for a couple of weeks one Christmas. I think it was 2007, maybe. It was like printing cash. It felt like printing cash. It was great.
When you do get that experience, you do think, gosh, the power of like eBay and Amazon. When you get it to that sort of thing, you do think, gosh, Amazon, certain lines. You think, blimey heck.
And that was the main one, but it was also Big Brain Academy on the Wii, Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii. Amazon just kept selling out, and if you just timed it right, it was amazing. It was so much fun. I'd sit there on the computer at night and adjusting prices, and as soon as you got the buy box, you sell it all, and it was just like, it's awesome. Yeah.
It does. Things like that do make me think, oh God, it'd be really good to go back into RA. But then I remember the pits of misery that when you buy something. I used to get this when I used to go to like B&M bargains, those kind of shops, and I'd buy some things a great deal, come home, and then there's 20 people that you're competing against, and you've got all this money invested in stock.
I think your mic's just gone funny. Is anyone else struggling? I could barely hear you then.
I did sit back a little bit, so maybe that's why.
Oh no, it's still doing it.
Let me know in the chat if there is an issue or whether it's just
Sounds
Nick.
a bit better now.
Huh, how strange. But yeah, you've got to be so careful with RA that I've seen in groups, people have got themselves, like there was when fidget spinners came out. I remember there was a post in one of the groups like, I bought a container of fidget spinners, can someone buy them off, that kind of thing.
I bet you still got a container of fidget spinners, whoever that was.
Yeah, definitely. So I do think it's too much like gambling for me. I don't mind dipping into it every now and then, but it's too much like pure gambling.
Yeah. Interestingly, when I was making a fortune on those Nintendo games, I had a game shop at the time. So worst case scenario, well, I could just take them back to Argos. They'd still be sealed anyway. But worst case scenario, I'd just sell them for what I paid for them in my own shop. But it was great at the time because I also had accounts with Nintendo. So I was still getting it in from Nintendo at wholesale price. So the margin on that through Amazon at that point was insane. And yeah, it was just, I'll never repeat that. It was too much fun.
Yeah. No, I'm not on any kind of calming drugs unless you count tea. I normally vent on videos, so that normally gets me through the day, or just have a moan on WhatsApp kind of thing. So just constant grumbling just tends to help. No, I mean, I could rant all day. Like Amazon shafted me, as you know, Nick. But all of a sudden, like near the end of lockdown, they went, "We need to re-verify your account. Please prove who you are." And then I had to send them so much stuff, like almost to the point of like a birth certificate to prove I am who I am, and I do business out of this address. And the problem was that like my business was registered to my house, but I had a warehouse where I worked out of, which is where I was on Amazon, but then they couldn't understand that my business was registered at home. Oh my God, it was so stressful.
Yeah. That's why I still haven't downgraded my Amazon account, even though I'm selling very little through it. I'm still paying the top whack because I don't want to downgrade it, and I need to upgrade it again at Christmas potentially. Yeah, and go through that.
A nightmare, and that whole time I couldn't get paid by Amazon, so they had. I could still sell stuff, but all payments were just racking up in my account, and I couldn't get paid. So if I was all in on Amazon, again, I would have been screwed. What do you say to the mortgage company? Oh, sorry, I can't pay the mortgage this month because I need to prove to Amazon that I am who I say I am.
Yeah.
And the problem was that it isn't Amazon you're dealing with. They subcontract it out to a firm, basically like a law firm in America. So you've got the time difference, to the fact that they don't understand how Amazon system works. just an utter shit show. Excuse my French, but it was to the point of being a joke because you contact customer service and you get through to somebody who's the lowest bidder, a subcontractor who's in a call center somewhere and who doesn't understand Amazon, is just reads from a script, and it's an utter nightmare. Or sometimes, if you're on text speed, live chat, like the text one, you're not even speaking to a real person; you're speaking to a computer, which is even worse.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I know. It's one of the main reasons that I would not. I think if I did quit Amazon, I'd get the feeling that it would just be a kind of weight off your shoulders moment.
Yeah,
I've said this to you before, they reel you back in because all of a sudden I'll sell like a vintage toy for like 50 quid, where on eBay they're a tenner, and you think, oh, that's why I like Amazon. But then you get 5 refunds in 2 days of stuff, and it's like, oh, yeah.
There's actually, I'll go to the super chat in a bit. Luke is in the Book Picker, a channel worth checking out, and he has also come out of FBA completely. And I was chatting with him, saying about how freeing it is to be free of it, and it's a wonderfully powerful thing. I remember the feeling of being on holiday. It was on my honeymoon, and I was selling stuff, and I didn't have to do anything. It was all being posted out for me. It was great. But that gut-wrenching dread you feel when you realize that your business is entirely in their hands and they could end it in a moment's notice is horrible, that feeling. And it's quite nice. Okay, my sales have dropped off, but it's August and sales are crap in August anyway, normally for me.
I guess it's you can liken it to having a boss again.
Yeah, totally.
The control they have over your decisions, they make your decisions for you in many ways. And yeah, I would liken some of what I've been through with Amazon to having a boss who just doesn't understand me and my issues or my anything, and he's just making decisions on my behalf. That's what it feels like. Whereas, I mean, eBay can be a bit like that sometimes, but you're in control of your stuff, at least to its in the main. Yeah,
I mean, this is probably going to get me in mind, but I think of Amazon as how I think of one of my ex-girlfriends. She was bipolar, and when I was in my 20s, it would, it was a good laugh and all that. But then other days, she was chuffing mental. So it's rough with the smooth, if sometimes it feels like Amazon is like mental. You'll be doing something, you'll be doing great. Oh, the system works really brilliant. Oh, guess what? We've changed the system. It's like, I've just got used to this one way of doing it. Yeah. Stop changing the.
It's like, you're happily going along. You found something or other that makes you lots of money, and you're sending them all up merrily. And yeah, isn't life great? And then for no reason out of the blue, Mr. Hills, you've got to take all of these back because you're not allowed to sell those anymore. And then we're not going to tell you why. And you're like, thanks for that. I've just spent X amount of money buying them and sending them to you. Oh, and now I've got to pay you to send them back to me. Yeah.
It's like, get off on a tangent, but like the way you add products onto Amazon, all of a sudden out of nowhere, they started asking me, bear in mind I mostly sell books, does this book contain a lithium-ion battery? And every single item I add, they ask me, and does this book contain a lithium-ion battery? And it's an extra 3 clicks when I'm adding stuff, but that extra 3 clicks sends me insane because no, just stop asking me. It's a bit like someone constantly tapping on the shoulder. Tom, does this book? It's like, so all those little things, I just had enough. And I did love FBA, and it did really good for me, but I need a break from it. Maybe I'll go back to it. I'm still invested in it, but just
you've still got 1,000 items up there.
Yeah, so but I am only sending. I am still sending stuff in, but it's got to be stuff that is quick selling, because I don't. Yeah.
So Rob sent you a $2 super chat there.
Rob's, I think, my 3rd or 4th super chat ever. So blooming heck, I'm going to be we're rolling it. Yeah.
Make it rain.
Do you drink herbal tea or just Lipton? Well,
Neither.
I'm PG tips all the way. I'm a tea snob.
Yeah, Andrea drinks fruit teas, herbal teas. We have like a whole range of teas in this house. I just drink regular caffeinated tea, and I don't drink coffee. Strangely enough,
I don't either. I can't stand coffee.
Mm.
I drink black tea. I don't have milk because it doesn't milk doesn't agree with me. I'm not lactose intolerant, but it just doesn't agree with me in tea. So about 3 years ago, I swapped to black tea, and it's not good for your teeth, I'm sure, but for me, yeah, PG black cup of PG tips that'll do me. I do drink. I used to drink rooibos tea quite a lot, red tea, because like I'd have that in the evening, so I wasn't so jittery, or decaf tea, but. Yeah, the problem with herbal teas is they can smell gorgeous, they smell lovely, but then they all taste the same. That was peppermint tea's all right if if you've got a bit of an iffy stomach. I don't.
I'll tell you what I did get into. This was going back quite a way, but I worked a summer in America, and I used to drink Snapple, the iced tea. Have you ever had the fruit iced teas? Yeah. Damn,
Peach.
they were good.
So much sugar in some of them, though. You've got to watch out. They sneak that in.
Bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob. I've had gosh. When I went to California on my honeymoon, we got in Myther. We asked for we just got there. We're gagging for a cup of tea, 2 teas with milk. Great. So of course it was hot California. They came out and they did us an iced tea with milk in it.
No way.
With like ice cubes in and stuff. So it's like watery, milky iced tea. Because they were like, you want tea with milk? Yeah, tea with milk. But so then we just had to ask for hot tea with milk. Yeah. Oh god, I only made that mistake once.
Wow.
Yeah. So but then they don't have kettles in America so much. Like one of the places we stayed at, we had to. That she boiled like the water in a pan because she hadn't got a kettle. So yeah. How on earth can you drink tea with milk? I used to drink tea with milk all the time. I used to, for many years, drink QT. Have you ever had that? It's instant tea with powdered milk in it.
Powdered milk and powdered tea, yeah. The whole thing powdered, isn't it? Yeah.
It weirdly tastes like tuna. You know, really that tea, that really metally sort of cheap tea taste.
I remember having that when I was a student. Just because milk would always end up going off. And it was a pain to remember to get it, and so I had it then.
Yeah, it's I should start a tea channel. I could talk about tea for hours. But Mel's, same here, Mel. Black tea, no sugar. Once you get used to the bitterness, it's quite nice actually. I used to hate black tea, but yeah, moved it.
Life easier if I went to black tea because the girls drank. Well, I think Erin still has regular milk, but Andrew, of course, being vegan, doesn't touch it. So we have oat milk in the house and other milk.
Oat milk's nice. You've got to watch out if some of it can have quite a bit of sugar in. Same with soya. Oh yeah, Dave's got a good point. Tea for Tom and coffee for Z. I really tried to get into coffee. I really did, but I just can't get into it.
I just don't like the taste.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. So right. So any questions before we go? Because I realise I've been waffling for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm going to get my beauty sleep. I've got to be up for a live stream with Rod in the morning.
Yeah, gosh. Green tea. Yeah, green tea is quite nice. There's another one called I'm probably going to mispronounce it. Lapsang Shulong, which is like a kind of a smoky tea. That's quite nice. But do not have that with milk. It's vile with milk in. We have it black, but it's like Yeah, like a smoky tea. That's quite nice. Cool. Well, doesn't seem like we've got any questions in, but thanks everyone for joining us. I realise it was sort of a random, impromptu one, but yeah, certainly first time using StreamYard as well. So got there in the end. No tech issues other than a slight microphone fail, but other than that, all good.
I know, it's amazing. Yeah, StreamYard's great actually. I'd hate to go back to the old way of doing things now.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to be coming out with some edited videos soon of sort of the moving of units and stuff like that. So some quite exciting stuff going forward. So yeah, lots of tat, shall we say? Yeah. Cool. Well, I shall end it there. So thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And I'm sure most of you are subscribed to Nick's channel, but I'll put a link in the description if you're not, so you can go over.
That's nothing to do with anything, by the way. Don't search for that. Just search Nic Hills and it should appear.
But I'm pretty sure most people. Whoa! Fake news here. No chance. Oh, ginseng tea. Anyway, I'll stop talking about tea. I'll talk about tea. I'm rant about eBay and Amazon and talk about tea. But yeah, I do love a cup of tea. So on that bombshell, I will leave you all to it. But so thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all soon.
Cheers, Tom.
Bye.